welcome to the Holy Hour podcast. It's the bi-weekly All Cure podcast. I'm your host, Gavin. Welcome back. And we are settling in to our new year here. We always do a big Cure covers episode at the top of the year, usually to get things rolling on a semi-chill note. And this is, believe it or not, our 12th installment of Why Can't We Be You, the Cure covers episodes. So volume 12, can you believe it? We doubled up a couple, maybe in the first few years there, where we did more than one episode of Cure covers. But then pretty much for the last batch of years, we've been trying to just stockpile them for about a year and then do one at the start of the year where we recap. So a lot of these are going to be 2025 Cure covers. It's not all of them, and there's plenty more. It never ends. It's like trying to collect bootlegs, I guess. But we want to share them with you. This year's going to be a little bit different, though, because usually I try not to talk too much, and I just kind of say what it is and where we found it and how new it is or what, and then I play a little segment of it. But Spotify for Creators has decided to clamp down on audio big time. If you've been listening to the show, you know I've had my struggles. So, and even more so when I play bands that aren't even The Cure. So this shit's going to get flagged instantly. One way I've seen they don't seem to catch it as much as if I talk over the music and keep it low and short. So sorry, that's not the ideal way of hearing a snippet of something, but the general idea for this episode will be to let you know that it's out there. Maybe hear a little bit in the background while I say a few words on it. And you can go track it down yourselves. Most of these you can find on all the streaming this time. So I'll tell you right off the bat, the first, 14 or so, they're all on at least Apple, which usually means they're on Spotify too and out there. So you should, if you have a streaming service, be able to find them. And then the last few ones are taken from YouTube clips. So you can find them on YouTube. So they're out there, and we're going to go over them. Should be fun. Some are great, some are bad. Like I said, I try not to even really say my full opinion because I know everybody. That's one thing I've learned from doing this all these years is that everyone's got kind of a different idea of what works for a Cure cover, right? You know, like some people like it when you totally flip it on its head and reinvent the song almost to the point where it doesn't even sound like the original. Wow, how creative. They found a new way to put their voice in it. Yeah, I get it. Points for effort, but you know, some people like it when you play it exactly like The Cure did. And I guess I fall in the middle of that. And what I'm getting at is that everybody has their little criteria. And so it's, I'll throw some opinions out there, but for the most part, I like to leave it open because I know what one person may love, another may not. So, but yeah, I personally like when they keep it pretty true to the band, especially musically. Don't be rewriting bass lines and shit unless, you know, you can pull it off. But for the most part, I like them to keep it fairly true to it. It's okay if you speed it up, slow it down. I feel like a lot of people just slow everything down, and that gets a little overdone, but it is a good strategy. Just changing the tones and the sounds is usually a good idea. Like if you have a more guitar-y Cure song and then you make it like a electro or synth pop kind of thing, that's kind of cool. The vocals are usually where they fall short for me. It's hard. Robert's so iconic and classic with his vocal style and sound, and it just gets a little too like, what are you doing? Which is tough because when you're singing it, you don't want to try to sound like Robert or anything too. So you're trying to put your own voice in it, but at the same time, it's what makes it great a lot of times is Robert's voice, and it sounds like you're just butchering it if you bring in a whole different vocal style. So I mean, that one, it's I can't really blame the people a lot of times unless they're like changing words or just really over the top trying to sound like Robert. But really, you can't even blame them if they just are singing it in their own voice that I just may or may not like anyway, whether they're doing originals or Cure covers. So that one's tough. I feel like my preferences tend to lie, and if you switch it to female vocals, it works a little better. I'm always partial to female vocals on things I've never heard before too. It's easier to just kind of like female vocals without really digging into the band too much, you know. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a little more pleasant to my ears, as opposed to just full on death metal singing or just somebody like a Friday, I'm in love, like a dude voice like that is a little harder to win me over with. But, you know, if you love that kind of stuff, then fucking A, go for it. So, yeah, so lots to consider. Just over the years, I've kind of cracked that as my formula. I like to be pretty true to the original, change up some tones in the instrumentations, maybe. If it's a piano part, play it on guitar. If it's a guitar part, play it on piano or something like that, just to make it a little different. And then sing it respectfully, but, you know, do add your own voice because, yeah, even if you nail it and it sounds exactly like a great Cure interpretation, then you're just too close to it and you might as well just listen to the Cure one. So it's a thin line, as they say. And we'll walk through these. I'll let you know which ones get a little too close for me, but like I said, don't let me influence your opinion on it. So I'm already babbling too much. Let's dive into some of these. I have no idea how long or how short this will all come out because I'm going to just be babbling over the song. But, this was all a big teaser. Before we start, I want to start this whole episode off with a giveaway. Yeah, we're going to be giving our Patreon crew some love early on this year here on the Holy Hour podcast. We do have a Patreon. It's at patreon.com/the Holy Hour podcast. And you can join on to help out and support this podcast with as small as the $3 donation once a month. You pick your tier, you help out. It's greatly appreciated. And we're going to put your name on this wheel. We've done this a couple times in the past, but I've been meaning to do it more. We have a Holy Hour merch store too, with t-shirts and hats and all kinds of crazy stuff with our logo and a couple fun designs over there. So I'm going to spin this Patreon wheel with names of our devoted and lovely Patreon crew. Whatever name it falls on, I'm going to buy them something from that merch store. What do you say? Yeah? Sound good? All right, let's give it a spin. You probably won't be able to hear this, but let's give it a shot. Who could it be? Oh, Dana is our big winner. Yay! Longtime Patreon supporter and friend of the show, Dana. We are going to hook you up with something flashy from the merch store, most likely a t-shirt. So I'll probably reach out to you to get your preferred t-shirt size, and we'll go from there. So yeah, if you want your name on this wheel for the next time we do it, sign up for the Patreon. That's how you get in the mix there and be a part of the action. I always throw out a little holy half hours and stuff like that too. Little bonus material. Try to do it at least once a month and make it fun over there. It's like the little secret society for the Holy Hour podcast. So go be part of the action. Patreon.com/the Holy Hour podcast. And you could be a big winner as well as a respected member of our podcast community. All right. I guess that counted as a promo or something, but let's dive into these covers. What do you say? All right. Up first is a cover of Love Song. No big surprise there. I'm going to spoil this where we got a lot of love songs in this batch. We always get a lot of love songs. I'd say Love Song, Friday I'm in Love, Just Like Heaven have got to be the top three. And I guess that's no surprise. If I had to guess what they would be, it would probably be that. Two biggest chart-topping pop hits and just the classic, Just Like Heaven. Of course, everyone's going to be covering that. But there's other ones we get pretty regularly, too. And another thing that I always chart this on is points for picking an obscure one. So while we can't award this first one with points for obscurity, we can say it is a nice, mellow, dreamy cover of Love Song. This is brought to us by Evie Vine, and that's a British act. This came out in June of last year. You can get it on streaming services like Apple and Spotify. Like I said, super chill, very dreamy with like more droney background songs. I don't even believe the actual bass line is in there. Yeah, I can't really pause long enough because I'll get flagged. But don't believe it's really in there. It's more of a droney kind of thing. Not quite sure we ever get the official da-da-da-da-da-da-da riff even. So kind of misses some marks for me on that, but it is nice and kind of lovely with the female vocals, so that always wins me over. It's a little more Tori Amos style than what I prefer, but something to keep in mind if you think you might dig it. It has a little bit of that kind of Tori vocal approach to Love Song. She covered Love Song, right? Way back. So maybe there's a connection there. But yeah, so if you like that one, you'll definitely love Evie Vine covering Love Song. Fortunately, we're going to have to cut it there because I don't really have much else to say, and they're watching. So let's move on to the next track. Next on the menu, we have another Cure favorite, A Forest, being covered. This one came to me via Chaz. He said they're sort of a Christian band, more like they're Christians and in a band. But we have Poor Old Lou, and that was a reference to, what movie was it? It was something I read that this was a reference to. But Poor Old Lou, it'll come to me by the end when I'm rambling here. So Poor Old Lou, the sort of Christian rock band, covering A Forest. So I guess they're not totally following Mr. what was his, Bob Larson's warning to stay clear of the evil satanic band, The Cure. So they said, to hell with that, this song is too good to pass up. So they keep it snappy and upbeat. I like that, you know, like I said, it is kind of a natural tendency to slow down Cure covers, and just a lot of bands when they tend to cover them, it's always easier to, I think, to just do the slow, dreamy version. So this one's a pretty good rockin' one. I think more of their stuff is probably in the like kind of power pop vein anyway. And believe it or not, I'm okay with the vocals. All my natural urges to have a prejudice against the Christian rock vocals, these guys actually sound pretty cool. You know, he's singing it different enough, kind of cool, raspy, but not too over the top. So yeah, pretty cool. They're out of the Northwest, I think Portland, formed in the 90s and have been off and on throughout their career. It looked like they since the 2000s have done little comebacks, and then they'll lay low for a while and do other stuff and come back with a tour or a single. So yeah, this single came out in September of last year, so I guess they're back on. And you know, you can kind of hear they were in the 90s. We were there, man. We know what it was like. So it's kind of like a 90s rock approach to A Forest. But I kind of dig it. Like if you can hear it behind me here, it's nice and thumping. They keep it at a good tempo. And all the tones on the instrumentation sound pretty spot on. So gotta say, Poor Old Lou. Oh man, what was the reference? I should have wrote it down. It's driving me crazy. Oh, it's like a fucking Narnia, I think. Yeah, of course it is. So yeah, something I think in Chronicles of Narnia, there's like a dog or something. But anyway, that's all I got. Good job, Poor Old Lou, though, and God bless you. All right, up next we are back in Love Song territory. I told you, I tried to warn you, this one's gonna come up a lot. And this is one of many that came to me via Jeff Cortland Jones, devoted Patreon member and friend of the show. He always hooks me up with cool Cure covers throughout the year, and I try to stockpile them and make notes so I can give him proper thanks for that. This is one that he has sent. And like I said, we're back on Love Song again. The band's called Pathos and Logos. And right off the bat, it kind of musically has, I dare say, a little of that 311 flavor from that cover we don't talk about very often. And that scares me off instantly. But then they rebound fairly quickly because the vocals on this, for some reason, you probably won't even be able to hear them properly because I'm yapping over it. But they're real low with like a vocoder kind of like robot effect on them. I'll risk just that little break there, but yes, there's like a little robot singing the vocals, which is very un-311. So they probably cringe if I said the 311 comparison, but it has a little of that, like, I don't know if it's like 90s funky rock kind of thing. Maybe they're just getting a little too funky with it. Like, I wouldn't even dare say reggae-ish, but tried to throw a little of that flavor in, and it, I don't like that. But the robot voice works good, so kind of feel like the friendly robot saves it a little bit. But yeah, it seems like it's a pretty weird blend, and I don't know how you guys would think on that one, so I'm a little lost on this one. It's included on an album of originals that came out in 2020 called Glory to the Order. So this one's a little bit older, and their genre listed on that album is metal. So maybe they lose the funk and the robots and go full metal on some of their originals. So I don't know. Yeah, like I said, even further confused now. So what do you guys think? Pathos and Logos, you know these guys? Love Song. No rest for the wicked. What is next on the covers menu, you may ask? Well, coming up next, we have Model. Charlotte Sometimes cover. Again, this one came from Jeff Cortland Jones. Thank you, Jeff. And this one might be a little more up your alley. It's came out in May of last year. Definitely falls into the dark and mysterious goth vocal stylings that a lot of Cure fans love. So we got the love voice singing, and works pretty good. Musically, it's pretty spot on, sticking true to the original. Good kind of modern flourishes to the tones and the sounds there. About the same tempo, I would say. And a lot that you can kind of dig into and enjoy. So really, it just boils down to if you like his vocals or not, I would say. Because the music sounds pretty rad. And that's a good swirly effect of everything in there, so pretty cool. So yeah, that's Model. I'm not sure where they're from. I didn't jot down. I think I want to say Austin, or no, wait, two-piece from Toronto. I did write that down. So Canadian dark wave band, yeah, Model. No time for expressionless games. That's my Dave Kendall impersonation. You remember Dave Kendall from 120 Minutes? This is Dave Kendall. And today we have another Cure cover coming from you from Silent Wolf. I believe it's pronounced Wolf. It's one of those WVLFs. So Silent Wolf. And this is another two-piece dark wave band. This time out of Bentonville, Arkansas. So we got some goth kids out of Arkansas, which is always good, and another love song cover. Yep, another slowed down, moody ass love song cover. This time with male vocals though, and more in the vein of the Model one that we just heard, the last band there. And they stick more or less to the actual Cure parts on this one, where you can hear the bass line in there and the down guitar parts in there. So they're using the actual riffs and stuff, which I personally like better, because you know that's a great song, so they should use the actual parts of that song. And we got the little riff there, and builds up nicely, utilizing those great layers that The Cure provided for them. So pretty cool. I'm digging this one. I like the vocals too. They're not too over the top Count Chocula goth vocals. They work good for me. I do like the music maybe a little better than the vocals, just because I feel like you could do more with that. But that's common for a lot of Cure vocals. As I said, I'm a tough critic there. So, but yeah, this was another one-off single for the band. Came out in June of last year. When I jotted that down, I don't know if that means they don't have any full lengths yet, so they're just releasing singles, it looks like. So, collection of singles from Silent Wolf. Check them out. Keep your eyes peeled. So I think most of us are more partial to these unknown indie bands. On hearing a Cure cover, it gets you in the door, then you start listening to their originals, and it's a cool way to discover a new band. But occasionally, not often, we get some huge name artists covering the Cure. And this is one of those cases. It originally just started out as a live performance at Glastonbury Festival, but now it's officially on her live album of that festival. We had Olivia Rodrigo last year covering and welcoming Robert Smith to the stage to perform with her Friday I'm in Love and Just Like Heaven. So pretty rad. We talked about it quite a bit on the end of the year episode and a little in passing back when it originally happened. But yeah, Olivia's huge in the pop world, blowing up the charts. Children and other people love her music, and she seems cool, sweet, and pretty fun. So her backing band on this song delivers pretty good on both of them. I'd say Friday more than Just Like Heaven. Really spot on. Just Like Heaven even sounds great, but it's just like the tones and stuff seem a little bland compared to Cure tones or whatever. But really, they really did a good job, her backing band, on nailing these songs and delivering them. If you got Robert there on the stage with you, you better fucking nail it. And I enjoy them. And, we talked about it in the episode a lot, that it's cool that this is a great way for a wider audience to find out about the Cure, and hopefully that's what it is. And kids everywhere are going, well, that's a cool song, what is that? And then now they're devoted Cure fans too, so pretty rad. And yeah, I like the way that they did them both as duets. Of course, she was, as opposed to her just covering them without Robert there, that would have been cool too. But the fact he is there, we get to hear the song in a different kind of way, kind of like he did with Churches on their song, but that was a specific song. Well, I guess they did do Just Like Heaven and stuff too, didn't they? Yeah. So yeah, kind of cool to hear them in a different way. With these harmonies and stuff are always great, because we don't get that with the Cure at their own live shows even, I've talked about that a lot, where I love Robert's harmonies on the recordings, and it is a little sad that we don't get those at the live shows. We don't need them, but they still sound great when you can throw them in there. So yeah, so cool little plus for these is to get some harmonies thrown in. And I do recommend that if you watch the live performance of this, put on the subtitles. Some of you may have seen my post that was around Christmas time, when I was drinking and having a merry old time at my brother's house, and we started watching videos, and we watched the clips of her and Robert performing these, and the subtitles were hilarious. There was so many. It was like You're Just Like a Tree, I think, on Just Like Heaven. There was a lot of good ones. I don't fully remember all of them, but they just mess it up, and it's goofy, but it's funny. So go check out those with the subtitles on, and enjoy a little Olivia Rodrigo. Maybe we'll get her on the show sometime and talk about Cure encounters, fandom, and performing with Robert on stage. I'm sure she'd be up for it. That seems like a reasonable guess, don't you think? All right, let's get back to some artists you may or may not have heard of entirely. How about Nite? You know these guys? Nite. And this is their cover of Burn, once again, via Jeff Cortland Jones. Thank you. And let's see, what do we know about Nite? They are in a dark electronic duo. Always the duos with these bands. Electronic duo out of Dallas, Texas this time. And this one's a little more electronic than the past few ones even. And definitely more electronic drums and sequencer for the bass parts kind of going. And I kind of dig it. It's a bit dancier maybe, but at the same time it works as far as changing it up, you know, because the guitar parts are pretty rad on Burn. And have I said yet what song they did? It's Burn. If you hear it in the background, you would have known that. But yeah, so pretty solid. Like I said, it gets a little dancier, but I like the changing up of instruments and tones, and it might take away from the kind of brooding Cure version that we all know and love. But it's cool because it's just the right amount. It doesn't get too cheesy, doesn't get too dorky. And same with the vocals, actually, because they're different, but they deliver. They don't go full Count Chocula. They don't, get too like squeaky dancey singer or anything. So it's nicely done. And like I said, if anything, it's almost too nice sounding because the song's so badass. But they get extra points for just doing Burn, because we haven't heard 1,000,000,001 covers of this, so that's always a good thing. And yeah, it's the final track on their full-length album of originals. From what I could tell, anyway, they were originals, and that came out just in November of last year, so fairly recent. And yeah, maybe we'll check out some more Nite to see what their other stuff sounds like. Could be pretty cool stuff there, because they do a great job with this one. Well done, boys, and good song choice. All right, this next one is kind of an exception too. This isn't a full-on studio recording so much as a live performance, but it's available on Apple and probably Spotify. And it's Ruby Fields doing Love Song. So we got another love song, but this one's on Triple J's Like a Version. That's a show that they do on Australian radio, Triple J, and on the channel Triple J, and the show's called Like a Version. And there's a lot of these floating around out there, and I totally recommend going down that rabbit hole on YouTube and seeing them. The deal is like the bands are in the studio for usually Australian, but they'll get people that are just touring, and they come in for an interview in the studio on the radio, and the little premise is that they pick a song and cover it really well. And they have some really cool covers, and they tend to be more contemporary covers and stuff too, so some really cool stuff. So Ruby Fields, who I'm not super familiar with, but sounds like shit I would totally love, and I'm always in favor of the Australian artist, as you may know by now. And she's from New South Wales, and yeah, not sure on her popularity level over there or here even, but has a couple full-length albums and a few standalone singles, and this one came out in 2025 as well. And yeah, it takes a pretty traditional approach to it, keeping with the Cure layers and the solos and the riffs and the organ sound are all in there, but definitely has its own kind of feel. The last verse in particular I really dig, where it just cuts down to just bass and the vocals, and then it all comes back in, and it's pretty rad. So it gets my vote for favorite love song cover so far, but there's bound to be more. But up next we have a lovely weird one. This one is by the 3POs. Yes, as in C3PO. This is not so much a traditional cover as a interpretation, maybe. Think Weird Al, indie rock, pop punk. Anyway, this one here is called Droids Don't Fly, and it's from from the perspective of C-3PO during the Ewok experience, and when he's rises up with Luke using the Force to scare the Ewoks into thinking he's a god, but droids don't fly. So the other songs on this album aren't all Cure sort of covers. They go through other 80s gems, but the coolest thing about this one is the album cover. They recreate basically the Three Imaginary Boys album cover, but we got our boy C-3PO, little action figure, standing next to the lamp, I believe. R2-D2's down there next to the vacuum, and the fridge, I believe, is IG-88, the bounty hunter. So, so pretty weird, pretty goofy. As much as I love a good Star Wars Cure crossover, not one that I think I'll come back to regularly, but definitely worth a listen for all you Star Wars fans in particular out there, and love a good, humorous droid perspective song. So that's the 3POs. You can find that one on Bandcamp, but I think it's on Apple and Spotify as well. So I first originally stumbled across it on Bandcamp, but multiple albums and singles too, other droid-themed pop songs, so check them out. And on the heels of that one, how do you rebound with that? Well, let's go with a brooding cover of Aru, I believe is how it's pronounced, but it's also under the name Camouflage. So Camouflage, back in 2022, November, did a cover of Cold. And this is another one where the music's very solid, a bit modernized sounding, so the tones and such feel a little bit more modern approach, but pretty much keeping it to the same classic format as our Cure favorite. And the vocals, pretty solid too, actually. There's some good raspy vocals going, but they don't steer the song in too weird of a direction, in my opinion. And they do a really good interpretation of Cold. Some great samples in there to really give it that pornography flavor, and just a well-produced song. So I'm pretty down with this one. And if you look up Camouflage, I believe you should be able to find this. The Aru is AREU, but it's under Camouflage too, if you just look that up. And I believe this is a live performance. So their former band is Aru, so maybe that's why they changed the name to Camouflage. So and they also covered it in 92, but so this is more of a modern interpretation from Camouflage. And again, this one came from Jeff Cortland Jones. Thank you, sir. And I think you guys would dig this one. As you can hear in the background, it's pretty solid. Following Cold and Camouflage, we have Cameron Dezen-Hammond. And this is a studio version, and she does quite a few other ones here, but it's a 2016 album of 80s covers. So this one's been out a while. She also does True Faith, Suede Head, Maneater, other classic 80s songs on this album. This one, the vocals are pleasant enough. Very, musically, it's pretty standard pop. It sounds cool, but it is very, going for like a big production pop in a sense. She does kind of break one of my golden rules for making a cool Cure cover, and she kind of out-cutes herself with doing so and fucking with the arrangement. Not sure where I read it or heard her talking about this, but when I first stumbled across this and looked into it, but she thought it was a really good idea to change like the whoa-ho-hos on a night like this to make that the main chorus, as opposed to I'm coming to find you if it takes me all night. And it works for switching those, but then she uses the coming to find you as the bridge. So that's where it just kind of comes off the rails a little bit and doesn't work quite as good. But she builds it well, like you hear when the little drum loop synth drum beat comes in there. Kind of cool, like I said, it's very pop but cool. But yeah, I don't really like the idea of switching that. You're kind of fucking with it for no reason. I give you points for trying to be creative with it, but it kind of just sounds like she fucked up and doesn't know how the song goes, which I'm sure isn't the case, I hope. But it seems intentional, but at the same time, it's like, why are you trying to rewrite this classic awesome song, And from what I heard of the other one she covered, she didn't fuck with any of those, so I don't know why she did that on this one. And even the style of pop vocals that she's going for, I'm not crazy about. So this one, yeah, good points for a night like this. At least she didn't do love song. And yeah, don't fuck with the arrangements, because like I said, on that bridge, it's not even the right melody. Like that. What the fuck is that? So, getting too cute with it. So. Yeah. So anyway, we'll leave it at that and move on to our next one. What do you say? And this one, of course, is probably my favorite of the whole batch, and maybe a new all-time favorite Cure cover. A lot of times the go-to answer when people say, what is the best Cure cover? Dinosaur Jr. doing Just Like Heaven is the go-to answer. But now, early in the year, we had a release of J Mascis from Dinosaur Jr. solo doing an acoustic cover of Breathe, which is fucking great because it's the B-side to Just Like Heaven. So he really liked that single from all the way back in the day, I guess. But fucking great idea. This works wonderfully. I think it's pretty much perfection for covers as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it works wonderful with his great guitar playing. Doing it on acoustic was a great choice. Keeps it super dreamy and mellow. But his unique vocals totally nail it in a similar passionate way as Robert Smith, Where on first listen you might be like, oh, J Mascis, he's kind of whiny, but it captures the passion so well, especially for a song like this. So it's sounds great. He doesn't overdo with like a crazy solo. Keeps it short and sweet at 2 minutes and 47 seconds. And yeah, I wish I could just play this song for you without talking over it, because I want you to hear it if you haven't yet. So that's your homework assignment. Out of all these songs, go listen to this one in particular. You'll love it, whether you're a Dinosaur Jr. fan or not. Number one for me. Why I have it at number 12 on this list, I have no idea. But they're not rankings. I just wrote them out. Good job, Jay. All right. As much as I'd love to just dwell on that Breathe cover, let's move on to some guys that I just got in touch with recently. But here we have Hidden Since the Foundation of the World, a newer Dutch neo-psychedelic doom/sludge metal band from Amsterdam. And they have a wonderful new cover of Hanging Garden. Technically this is live, but it sounds totally solid, like a studio recording to me. I really dig it. So yeah, they've only got a few singles out so far, so keep your eye out for more full originals. But yeah, this stays true to the original song, Hanging Garden, but still delivers it in a cool, kind of delirious state of mind way where it feels very dazed and dreamy with the vocals pretty low and delayed in there, but it works wonderfully, and the guitars have a great nasty kind of wall of sound going while still laying down the familiar riffs that we know from Hanging Garden, but there's also some cool little meanderings in between what are technically the pretty sparse little guitar riffs over that bass line for Hanging Garden, so it works great. Normally not my, kind of field of music that I love. This would be more Chaz and Antonio's territory, I think, but yeah, the vocals do it respect and sound great, and the music is tight and has that dark, mysterious feel that the original has still, while still giving it their own flair. So thumbs up from us over here at the Holy Hour for this one. And the Hanging Garden, go check it out. Once again, their name is Hidden Since the Foundation of the World. Gotta love a big epic name too. So, all right, from here we take a complete 180 and another great exercise to show how diverse the Cure is and how influential, where they could have a Dutch neo psychedelic, whatever I just said, band cover your song and do it justice. And then we go back to Glastonbury Festival for pop sensation Gracie Abrams covering Just Like Heaven as well at the same Glastonbury as Olivia Rodrigo. I hope that didn't cause any backstage tension when she said, "I'm covering it too, bitch." So, but this is another great one. This one's from my brother Owen. He's currently obsessed with Gracie Abrams. But yeah, she did good. It's exactly what you would think. It's a very popped up version, and you know, she sounds good. The band's tight again, and plays it, you know, very true to the original. Cool to hear it in female vocals. But yeah, mostly just cool that the Cure got two big nods from very current, very successful pop sensations at a festival. And yeah, so this kind of also proves how great this song is. Just Like Heaven, you can't fuck it up too bad, you know. So and you know, we've heard some Gracie Abrams crossovers. She played right before him at one of those South American festivals in 2023. And yeah, my funny only story I can really relate was that we were watching one of the streams that they had showed for one of those festivals, and there was a big chat on the side of the festival as it was streaming, and there was a bunch of kids in there waiting for Gracie Abrams to play, and then the Cure was going to go after her, I think. So we were just all kind of chatting in between, and most of them were like, "I'm not sticking around after she's done." And then we'd convinced, I remember one person in there was going to stick around and watch the Cure after Gracie's set wrapped up. And she seemed really cool and ready to like experience the Cure, because we were convincing them that we were, you know, they're the shit, man. You can't miss the Cure. So she seemed really cool going into it. About like 2 songs in, she's like, "Wow, I didn't think they were that old." And then she just peaced out. So I'd like to think that the seed was planted still, and she went back, especially after seeing this endorsement. But I wonder if Gracie had always been a big fan, or if maybe playing that festival got her into the Cure too. But she's probably pretty aware of the Cure. She's J Abrams' daughter, by the way, too. So, if you didn't make that connection, so whether you want that to be cool or nepo baby, whatever. But I think she's pretty legit. Her pop stuff seems pretty good. I've heard a few songs that sound all right and nice and kind of catchy mainstream pop, as it should be out there. And you know, JJ got some love for him. Got some, the whole Star Wars thing kind of soured a bit by the end of that sequel trilogy, but yeah, wanted to pull for JJ. But yeah, there's some things I'd like to ask him too, if we ever were in a room together. All right, so you didn't get enough of big time pop stars singing Cure songs? Well, we got a couple more for you, believe it or not. This is how well the Cure's doing right now. Lola Young is a new pop singer. Had a couple videos I seen on the more relevant video channels. Some song called "I'm a Mess" or something like that. Or maybe she just kind of looked like a mess in the video, but I think it was something like that. "I'm messy" or something. But yeah, she seems like she's doing pretty good with the kids and blowing up on the charts and stuff. It's little more soulfully pop that I like. It's not really my preferred vocal style, but at the same time, cool, of course, to be branching out, new territory. And she's taken kind of the more, this was for a live one, obviously. I didn't quite say at a certain point here. We've stretched into these are just live YouTube clips. But so it's not Triple J like a version, I don't think, but something similar where she's covering it in a studio. You can find the YouTube video and watch them all rocking out to this in the studio. So she starts it out super mellow, then it kicks in and gets a little more. But the parts are there. So pretty cool. It doesn't get too overly funkified and stuff, I guess. But yeah, so definitely worth a watch. I would recommend just going to YouTube for this one. Put you in Lola Young, Close to Me Live. And she's somebody I think that a lot of you would like. I just personally don't like the kind of vocals, you know. But yeah, she gets into it. Soulful, you know, very soulful at least. So I'll give her that. But kind of takes away the kind of alternative, claustrophobic vibe. You know, like the whole song is kind of, for me, feels very like insecure, anxiety ridden and stuff. So if you're singing it really confidently, it kind of doesn't have the same, as opposed to the mumbly Robert Smith, or just making it really fun. I guess she's going more for like the live version, you know. So let's move on before I keep doing that. How about one more big pop sensation? This time we got Chappell Roan. We've hit all our favorite pop icons there. I know Chaz is a big Olivia Rodrigo fan, and Antonia's mentioned that he's down with Chappell Roan occasionally, and my brother is down with Gracie Abrams. Who am I down? I guess I'm still just down with J Mascis. So all our favorites here, though, are covering, and this one isn't as fair to compare to everybody because it's a super, I think maybe even a phone recording from, let's see, Live at Revolution in 2023, so it's older too. So we can give her points for doing this before all these other new pop sensations. But she's covering Friday I'm in Love, and like I said, it's a super rough YouTube camera phone video, and she's even reading the lyrics from her phone while sitting on stage. Not even sure if the person that's playing guitar with her is in her band or if it was just somebody. It almost looks like somebody she pulled out of the crowd or a friend. So it's very wonderfully slacker performance that they're just kind of playing together, but it makes it kind of sweet and natural too. And it's pretty tight other than reading the lyrics there, but no real goof ups or, you know, stutters or anything like that. So I'm pretty down with it. And I think she should take Friday I'm in Love into the studio. Of course, losing a couple points because it's Friday I'm in Love, you know, just we've got enough covers of that. But even just like Heaven, you know, not really going out on a limb. So Lola might get a few extra points for doing Close to Me at least over those two, or Love Song. So pretty cool. Another one I just recommend going to the YouTube because the audio isn't great. You probably can't hear it very good behind me right now. Don't know if they flag you for already bootleg videos. Probably pretty safe on that. I'll give you a quick taste. If this just magically disappears in the next few months, you'll know why. So yeah, check it out on YouTube to get the full experience there. We're gonna get back to our more familiar style of cover here on the Holy Hour, and this one came from Michael Romano on Instagram that reached out and said he's a frequent listener of the Holy Hour, and I thought I'd share a Cure cover of Cold with you that was from a band called Voyager. He said his band, Monolith, shared a split 12-inch record with them back in 2010. So this is Voyager doing Cold, and has kind of that classic, dark, hardcore vibe. So this is right up Antonio and Chaz's alley here. Definitely the more hardcore vocal style that they are a fan of over me, but this is done properly. You can tell you got the full Cookie Monster rocking out Cure tunes. This is how you do it if you're going that route. Like I said, not necessarily my cup of tea, but I can respect the art and keeping true to the original, making it as badass as it could possibly be. And this is definitely one of the main songs to do this too. As we've seen, Pornography tends to be the one that a lot of the hardcore crowd leans towards if you're going to cover a song. But you know, it's all, if you do it right, then get my stamp of approval. So there you go, Voyager doing Cold. You can definitely find that on YouTube, I believe, and also I have a link here of Science of Silence Records.bandcamp. So go there to stream and download Voyager's Cold. Thank you, Michael. All right, and I think that's going to wrap up for this episode, guys. We have run out of Cure covers. I will give you a heads up that there are some good ones on the horizon for next year. So I already added them to my running list of ones to do. If you come across any, feel free to be like Jeff Cortland Jones and send them my way, and I'll put them on the list, but we probably won't get to it from a year from now. Or if this one gets all flagged to hell and taken down a million times and have to re-upload it, we might just lay this whole concept to rest. But if this works, we'll do another one at the start of next year where we recap as many as we can for the year. So send them my way. If your band out there has a cool one, I like those the best, when it's a band that's otherwise might not get stumbled upon quite as easily. Definitely send it my way, and we'll work it in. You know, if anything, I might just be a little too honest with if I love it or not. But don't hold me. You know, I'm a tough critic with this because it's, you know, The Cure. I love these songs. It's too much. Even when I cover it, I enjoy doing it, but I'm like, this is shit. Everything is shit compared to the Cure version, but they're fun to do. That's something we've said in probably every covers episode, is that I love Cure covers. You know, it's a love-hate thing, so they're so much fun to record and sing, and obviously just to play as a musician. So you know, everybody who does it that's a Cure fan and a musician, so get a few recorded, and it doesn't need to compete with the original by any means. But yeah, send it over. We'll put it in, at least let the people decide, and hopefully get you some new fans too. We mentioned the Patreon at the start of this episode, and Dana won herself something from the Holy Hour merch store. So I'd like to give another shout out to our Patreon crew as we close out this covers episode. Patreon.com/The Holy Hour Podcast. Let's give a giant thank you and salute to Craig, Jeff Hilton, Amber, Allison, Jeff Cortland Jones. Big extra thanks to Jeff Cortland Jones there for all the help with piecing together these covers for this episode. Donna, Sue, John, Dion, Amicio, Matt Ford, Letty, John Roberts, Colin, Jason Hall, Tony, we got Ben, we got Matt Fisher, Danny, Coulter, Tom Johnson, Francisco, Arno, Chip, Nicholas, Shirley, Mara, Caroline, Brian, Sean, Jennifer, and let's welcome our newest member just in the last week. We welcome Craig Hogan to the Patreon crew. Always good to have another Craig on board, and especially this Craig, because Craig is super awesome. He contributed to the show in the past and was a guest even on episode 199, the one with Arusha and Susie, and we all talked about their friends Ian, who's going on a bootleg journey, listening to every bootleg. And Craig is known for being the master of early Cure bootlegs. And yeah, so he was even an instigator of the Cure Encounters episode. So we had segments from him on that one too. But a wonderful addition to the team. And we look forward to having Craig on soon too. We can talk to him about his experiences chasing down the Cure and capturing live shows and all the bliss that goes with that. So welcome, Craig. And of course, Kate is always in charge over at curethreads.com, where she has tons of original Cure-inspired designs on a wide range of quality products. And she's also leading the charge over there at Cure Arts Collab on Instagram, where she is bringing you a seemingly endless scroll of Cure art created by Cure fans. And of course, Scott Kruger is a co-host of the Sarlacc Digest, the best Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I know he was checking out that 3PO's droid-driven covers album, or what do they call them? Satire parody songs, whatever. So yeah, we'll have to, next time he's back on, we'll have to ask his opinion on that masterpiece. But yeah, perfect for any level Star Wars fan over there. His podcast is awesome. So get in on their action, live streaming every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube. And you can also watch it from their page on Facebook, or catch the replays just as a good classic podcast anywhere you stream your podcast. The force is definitely strong with these guys. David runs The Obsessive Geek. That's an Etsy shop that he's started up, and a great spot for Cure related shopping. You can get yourself some 3D printed recreations of Cure album covers for wall decorating, and some Boys Don't Cry keychains. He's got Fascination Street signs that you can display behind your Funkos. And best of all, it's all super high quality and affordable. So visit The Obsessive Geek on Etsy. And then we have today's big winner, Dana, who is also a freelance animation, illustration, and motion graphics designer, ready to kick off the new year and open to new projects and commissions. So check out her work at graphics.tv. That's graphics with an X.tv. And drop her a line if you are looking for some help in spicing up your next project. Then we have Tanya, who wants to spread awareness of 988lifeline.org because she's an awesome person. And that's the suicide and crisis hotline with over 200 crisis call centers located all over the U.S., available 24/7, offering free and confidential support for people in distress with numerous prevention and crisis resources. Unfortunately, just because it's a new year doesn't mean all these stresses disappear. So if you or anyone you know is in need of help, please don't hesitate to reach out to 988lifeline.org. Lisa recommends you visit the coolest nightclub in Calgary, Canada. That's Dickens. And you can visit dickensyyc.com to get the full scoop on all their upcoming events. Don't forget to check out Chaz's other podcast, James Dobson's Bastard Kids, where each week he and Chrissy take a deep look at the evangelical church. And you can stream those weekly at your favorite podcasting streamers. And lastly, if you're looking to start up a podcast in the new year and are psyched to have all the fun conversations and dive into it, but don't want to bother with all that annoying audio editing, well, I'm for hire on, I could take care of all that boring stuff for you. So just drop me a line. We'll size up some specifics. And I've been looking for more freelance audio editing work. So hit me up, and I'd be extra thrilled to get it rolling, and work with some Cure fans would be super cool. So let me know what you're thinking. I'm open to it. And you can email me about that, or the Holy Hour, or this episode, or your band's cover, or whatever's on your mind. I don't care. I'll talk to you. gavinconner at gmail.com. That's Connor with an E, by the way. gavinconner at gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're streaming this podcast from so you don't miss any episodes. You can check out our Facebook page for more supplemental material, and follow our Instagram for most updates, and just see some cool pictures too. Anyway, it's about Grammy time, y'all. So we're playing make believe next episode. And not only are The Cure nominated this year for Best Alternative Album and Song for 2006, even though the album came out in 2004, we'll get into it. But we are nominating them for every album that was ever released and seeing how they measure up to the heavyweights like Billy Joel and Toto and Radiohead. So it'll be a blast. Can't wait to dive in with you guys. See you back here in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening to these covers. Again, apologies that I had to talk over them all, but it's the way of the world, man. So hopefully none of this got flagged. If none of this episode has any audio in it, you'll know that that's what happened, and I had to go back and just cut all of it up. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully you got a little taste of those tunes, and go check out some of those bands, in specific their original material. All right, I'm going to play us out with just some dude that was on YouTube playing this with his acoustic guitar, so I'm assuming he won't flag us, but this was an awesome acoustic cover of the song Disintegration by Aunt Jessie Harris, and you can find him on YouTube. I'll try to put this link somewhere too. Disintegration, acoustic style. Talk hard.